Hi, thank you very much, and thank you, and sorry for waiting. And we will start the panel discussion. So today's moderator is Dr. Aiyama Miyuki. Thank you very much, Director of the Information Program, JIRCAS. Dr. Aiyama, so please take it away, please.
Much for introduction. Good afternoon. My name is Miyuki Aiyama. I'm very honored and indeed very thrilled to be moderating this session with a distinguished panelists. So far, we have learned various initiatives for food system transformation from global, regional, national levels, respectively presented by Dr. Fotiou of UN Food System Coordination Hub, Dr. Minh of the ASEAN Secretariat, Dr. Hagiwara of MAF, and Dr. Funaki of JIRCAS. And we also learned about the country-level food system transformation efforts in the Asia-Monsoon region, presented by Dr. Ghani of Maldi and Dr. Suichaye of Kasetsart University. Building on these stock takes, we will discuss and identify the lessons for future initiatives to accelerate the application of agriculture technologies in the Asia-Monsoon region and beyond. Please let me call the International Scientific Advisory Board for Strategy MIDORI. The board members, with their extensive scientific knowledge and experience, have guided the activities of the Green Asia project. So I would like the members to set the scene for this panel discussion. Let me first introduce Dr. Shenggen Fan. He is a chair professor and dean at the China Agriculture University. Having served as the Director General of International Food Policy Research Institute, IFPRI, he has contributed to many international research and development organizations as board members. Dr. Fan, could you provide your assessment of the achievements and gaps of the Green Asia project and share your expectation for future similar initiatives to promote sustainable agriculture technology to build a resilient food system?
All right, it's working now. Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Aiyama, for the nice introduction. I have been the International Scientific Advisory Committee board for the last 4 years, and I try to attend most of them. But during the COVID, I think I missed 2 of them because China banned the travel during the COVID very restrictively. So I really learned quite a bit, particularly today's presentation, stock taking. Just a couple of things I should mention. The great achievement. The one is the project really used a food system approach for achieving green development, the Green Asia food system approach. You will see that it's not just production, but also processing. So all the food system approach has been taken. Then I think it's not just the rice, livestock, wheat, and maybe even beyond. So not just the rice that we love to eat here in East Asia. Now, I think the technology category is so important, so nice. 44 technologies that can really be shared, can be learned from let's say the people in the region and probably even the whole world. I'd really encourage all the different stakeholders take a look of the category, whether it's online or maybe through this technology, or this brochure, the 44 technologies. And just after the presentation, we also had a chance to see all these 44 technologies. So it's really wonderful. I think it provided a good model for many other Asian countries to really learn to share. I think yes, it's sponsored by the Japanese government, the ministry, but the lessons goes beyond the country, goes beyond the region. Now, so what's gap? I don't think it's a really gap. It's more what should the project do more in the next phase. The one is, I think in terms of collaboration, I do think the CGIAR centers could be brought in to work with them, because CGIAR is also developing their technologies. CGIAR is also compiling technologies that can be used by the different countries in different regions. So working with CGIAR or maybe other international regional organizations, or even Asian Development Bank. It's also working with IRRI, more on rights related, but I think it goes beyond right. The second is maybe, yes, the first phase really use food system approach We know that food system wanted to achieve better nutrition, better health, good environment, reducing carbon emissions, and more inclusion, resilience. I think the project has done very well in terms of sustainability. I really wish in the next phase, maybe nutrition could be a bit more prominent, nutrition. For example, the fortification, I think one of the awardees of your international award is working on biofortification. But obviously, nutrition goes beyond biofortification. Diversification, even some of the food safety, I think that could be brought into more prominently. The third point is communication. I think this is a really good story that could be shared with others. The first year, the vice president of JIRCAS came to China, to WAFI. This year, Mr. Koyama came to China. I think to bring your experience to share with others. The WAFI had 7,000 people in-person participation, 400 million online. So using all these different platforms, whether it's AGRA, I don't know whether you have gone to AGRA, it's African Agriculture Green Revolution, the World Food Prize Foundation, even FAO. I think you have been at FAO. So to really bring the stories more broadly to all these global international platforms, that will further enhance the impact of this project. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fan, for compliment for the Green Asia project, because of its full coverage of food system in terms of the category and the sectors. And we are taking your recommendation to go further, especially to strengthen partnership with CGIAR, and then also looking at nutrition and then improving the communication. Thank you so much. Now, let me call Dr. Jacqueline Hughes, Secretary General, World Agriculture Forum. She has played various leadership roles in international agriculture research organizations, including the International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, ICRISAT, another CGIAR center, as a former Director General. Dr. Jackie, thank you for attending from UK. It must be very early morning there. Could you share your experience with the Green Asia project, which has attempted to promote scalable technologies, and give your advice for future initiatives to accelerate the impacts on ground?
Thank you, Dr. Yama. Well, the project, as Professor Shenggen Fan said, has been going for 4 years and focused on increasing regional sustainable food production, particularly the Asia-Monsoon region, bringing together the Japanese technologies. And this project has a clear structure, clear goals, and a professional and responsive project management team. This is really important to keep a project on track. The project has it. And it has 2 pillars, right? The international publicizing, supporting the scaling, and the International Advisory Board is part of that, adding to the other international collaboration that Professor Fan mentioned. So we've been able to give focus, guidance, and the nuances of working internationally. And that technology catalog, 44 technologies, and hopefully many, many more, increasing scope and scale. The other pillar, the validating and adapting, getting the technology ready for use on the ground. The alternate wetting and drying, AWD, BNI, biological nitrification inhibition, is somewhere where Japan is really at the cutting edge, working with the CGIAR centers, and of course, rice blast. And we've learned a lot over the last years. One of the things is that one size does not fit all. And so the pilot projects in country have been a great success. For the advisory board, you know that I'm generally more forward-looking than backwards. And to me, this is just the beginning. There are so many technologies around in Japan and elsewhere, of course, but the ones in Japan have been collated. There are many opportunities, and I think there are many, many more technologies on the shelf. So to scale, we can, I think, go even more. And we need to work better with national partners, I believe, public and private. We need some other things to happen. They sound very high level, but they're not. They're basic. Needs assessment. What do people actually want? We need to go in first to do that. We need to look at the risks linked to the implementation. That's the policies, the unintended consequences or trade-offs, as Professor von Braun will probably say, not consequences. And the impact pathway. Why? Because then you can be sure that what you're doing is what is needed, and then you measure through monitoring, evaluation, learning, impact assessment. But I believe this project can go bigger, much bigger. We have a good project management team. We have all the technologies available, and I think they can be scaled broader geographically. There's more technology on the shelf coming from research institutes. I know there is stuff on the shelves that can go out to the field. We need more social science input, possibly, to be able to get that faster scaling, to understand the needs and to work correctly with our various partners. So I think if we can do a stronger scaling of these activities that we have and new ones, and that will enable us to have a truly sustainable food and nutrition, Dr. Pham, food systems, not only for Asia-Monsoon, but also Asia-Pacific, Africa, Central and West Asia, Latin America, because the technologies can fit if we test them on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jackie. You complimented that the success of Green Asia lied in the fact that the structure, with a very good structure from the beginning. But you also said this is the beginning, we had to go bigger. It's really ambitious, and then we just try to see how it will go from this panel discussion. Thank you so much. Now we have also Professor von Braun joining online. He is a distinguished professor at Bonn University, and he is among the architects of the 2021 UN Food System Summit as the chair of the scientific group. Professor von Braun, you must be aware of many global and regional initiatives of food system transformation. So the Green Asia project is unique, aiming to promote agriculture technologies whose development has been led by Japanese institutions. As a modality to promote international collaboration, can you assess this project and then a project approach and how it could be more effectively contribute to global efforts toward sustainable food system transformation?
Well, good afternoon in Japan. Thank you for including me remotely. Sorry that I cannot be with you. I assess the Green Asia project's approach as very positively achieving its goals. The strength of the approach of the project is that it is combining two things. One, it promotes agricultural technologies and innovations, and two, it builds partnership in the region, in the Asia-Monsoon region, through the implementation, testing, and scaling the technologies. The technologies have already been mentioned. They are strategic, the wetting, drying, the blast resistance, and so on. I also want to highlight the positive contributions to science policy interface strengthening. Your question, how could it be more effectively contribute to global efforts towards sustainable food system transformation, needs to consider the changing global scenery of efforts. Number one, global efforts to transform the food systems are weakened by lack of finance and lack of policy attention. The SDG 2 on ending hunger by 2030 is no longer achievable. Secondly, at the same time, the need for global efforts are increasing because of climate change, to which agriculture needs to adapt, and environmental degradations like soils. And these forces are reducing total factor productivity in food systems. So we have a widening gap between efforts and means. that must be addressed by science and innovation. Japan, with the Green Asia project, has built the foundations for a strong follow-up and scaling up. I recommend to now build a next phase of Green Asia project, and in that phase, I suggest to pay attention to 4 points, some of which have already been mentioned by previous speakers. Number 1, the partner country's ownership should be invested in, which can be achieved with integration of the technology programs in overarching food systems transformation strategies of the countries themselves. For instance, in their national pathways in the UN Food Systems Summit context. So, ownership building. Secondly, a strong monitoring, evaluation, and modeling component should accompany the technology program to set priorities, counting on synergies between the technologies. And I believe there are strong synergies. Third, thinking about a strategic relation with private sector innovators in the region. And fourth, scaling requires finance. So mobilizing finance from and with partners should be part of such a next phase so that it is sustainable in the way moving forward. Thank you again. I'm very positive about the program and wish you all the best with it in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor von Braun, about your positive feedbacks. But you also mentioned about the challenge, increasing needs and then gaps of the efforts. And then you recommended 4 points: the ownership, and then the strong monitoring and evaluation, and also closing the financial gap, mobilization of the resources. That's what we should look for. And then that requires partnership. Thank you so much. Now we have Dr. Jean Balié of FAO, but unfortunately he's not available, but he has sent video messages. So let us play the video.
Good morning. It's a great honor to speak today as a member of the JIRCAS board for the strategy Midori, and to share my reflections on the Green Asia project, a flagship initiative under Japan's Midori strategy. This strategy reflects Japan's strong commitment, not only to greening its own agriculture, but to serving the region and the world. It is a model of responsible global leadership. We live in a time when our food systems are under unprecedented pressure from climate change, biodiversity loss, soil degradation, and water stress. Against this backdrop, Japan's initiative stands out for its clarity of purpose and regional solidarity. It represents exactly what the world needs more of: a science-based, partnership-driven, and globally minded approach to transforming our food systems. The Green Asia project is already delivering tangible benefits across Asia, from water-saving rice systems using alternate wetting and drying, to better nitrogen management through biological nitrification inhibition, and the use of remote sensing and geospatial tools for precision agriculture and crop insurance. These are just examples for what the Green Asia project has been working on. These innovations show Japan's willingness to share solutions that go beyond its borders, building a regional model for sustainable agriculture that other nations can learn from. But we also know that innovation alone is not enough. For technology to achieve real impact at scale, they must be linked to policy action, investment, social adaptation. And that is why I warmly commend JIRCAS for developing and publishing the technology catalog, a concrete and visible success already. Looking ahead, I would encourage JIRCAS to broaden this concept into an innovation catalog, one that brings together not only technologies, but also institutional, policy, market, governance innovations. Take the example of biochar research. It offers strong potential. Yet, affordability, profitability, and methane's trade-off remain challenges. To bridge this gap, we must connect upstream research with social sciences to better understand incentives, perceptions, and behavioral change. Because in the end, people adopt what they believe will make their lives better. The Green Asia project can also serve as a blueprint for holistic research, integrating life cycle analysis, economics, and social dimensions to build a compelling story of impact. This type of transdisciplinary science is essential for turning research into real-world transformation. Another key strength of this Green Asia project is its ability to operationalize food system thinking. Moreover, by linking production, environment, markets, and nutrition, it shows how international cooperation has become something that is not an option. It is a necessity. No country, however advanced, can transform its food systems in isolation. We need to build bridges, share knowledge, and invest together in solutions that are scalable, inclusive, and equitable. As we look ahead, I see the Green Asia project becoming a true vehicle for acceleration, a regional platform supporting Japan's Middle East strategy and advancing global food system transformation. It demonstrates that when science, policy, and partnerships align, we can transform not only technology into real impact, but we can also transform the very way we think, produce, and consume food. That, in my view, will be the enduring legacy of the Green Asia project, a powerful message from Japan to the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Balié. We take your message and maybe try to address it later. Now, let me ask Dr. Fotiou. UN Food System Coordination Hub has been providing countries with systemic, country-driven, customized support in translating their commitment into effective action. Hearing the comments from the International Advisory Board, could you contextualize Green Asia project in the global efforts for food system transformation and highlight the aspects which can derive lessons for other regional and global food system transformation initiatives?
Thank you very much, Dr. Yama. First of all, it's not a coincidence, I think, but it's a very nice alignment that the two members of the advisory committee of the project, Dr. von Braun and Dr. Shenggen Fan, are members of the scientific advisory committee of the UN Food System Coordination Hub. So that shows actually how much the project is influenced by the global thinking on food systems. And I was really very impressed to read the draft of the Green Asia overall report. So congratulations to Dr. Funaki, Dr. Kobayashi, Dr. Kanamori and you, Dr. Yama, for the report. And I took there three messages that I think the project could deliver to the world and could be used for other regions or even at the global level. One of the core lessons for me is that the effective food system transformation depends not only on inventing new technologies, but more on institutionalizing the mechanisms that connect the science, policy, and adoption. So the project is looking to break the fragmented innovations and to aggregate all these scalable success models or technologies and provide it as a package. Just half an hour ago in the next room, I was impressed to see so many different technologies, you know, from using hot water to fight diseases in strawberries, to, of course, to the AWD method that reduces by 41% the CO2, the greenhouse gas emissions. A second lesson, I think, it's about the operationalization of the science policy interfaces. And rather than being just outreach, the project has embedded the scientists into the intergovernmental process, the meetings of ASEAN, the meetings of the UNFSS process, of course, the COPs.
And that means that SPI should be treated not as a consultation space, but also someone used this morning the word co-design, a co-design space linking technical credibility with political legitimacy. And the third aspect for me is that the project looks at the practical aspects of innovation and technology. So many times I've said that we have the kind of thought to confuse and equalize innovation and invention. Innovation doesn't mean necessarily invention, and invention doesn't mean necessarily innovation. And invention will become an innovation only if it becomes a successful marketing product or service. And innovation sometimes is not depending on something new, but on something that it was probably rediscovered and it's used for the good purpose. That was in the report you mentioned that the AWD was used in Malaysia for decades, but with the project was more or less reinvented. And my call to the project will be three things. One, I cannot agree more with Professor von Braun, which say let's link it to the national pathways and have global ownership. And for this, I would like to make an offer to the project. As you know, we organize food system solution dialogues and food system solution webinars with our scientific advisory committee. So maybe you could consider to organize such a webinar that we will invite the national conveners and they have members of the committee to speak to them. The second, as I said in my morning speech, is that I have a feeling that the science policy interfaces needs to be done science policy society interfaces, because we need to listen also the private sector, the youth and other actors. And the third, that it would be fantastic if you get this technology, if you get this experience, and from Green Asia, you have a spin-off that we can call it also Green Africa, because Africa really needs the services that you provide with the project. Thank you.
Thank you so much for very much positive feedbacks on Green Asia. Yes, it's actually the Green Asia is like effective mechanism. You are talking about institutional mechanisms to bring fragmented activities into one called coordinated activities. We really want to strengthen this, and then we are very much interested in joining the webinar of UN Food System Coordination Hub. Thank you so much. Now let me ask Dr. Minh. I recall Dr. Funaki's dedicated promotion of technology catalog at various ASEAN meetings with MAF Japan, and then mission of Japan to ASEAN sparked the ASEAN Secretariat's interest in Japan's scalable technologies, agriculture technologies. And then the Green Asia project has been given chances. You invited Dr. Funaki and the Green Asia team to ASEAN meetings to introduce Japanese scalable technology, and some of the technology have been mentioned in the policy strategy documents. So this is a case, I think, where technology catalog became a tool of science policy interface to facilitate the matching of the supply and demand for information of scalable technologies. And Dr. Minh, and can you please provide the ASEAN Secretariat's assessment of the Green Asia project as a focal point of collaboration? And then can you share your expectation for future initiative to scalable agriculture technology in the region to work together with us?
Thank you, Dr. Miyuki-san. First of all, when we also discuss and also read the project documents on the Green Asias, I found that I think that around 2 years ago, I so look at the documents, right? And I feel that it also exactly reflects what's the needs of ASEAN, right? So as we also know that in the project there are two components, right? The first one also focus on the coordination efforts, to promote technology from ASEAN, from Japan to ASEAN, and the second part also related to the practical technologies, right? So for ASEAN Secretariat, when we look at the project proposals, project document, I feel that it also, the need of ASEAN, where the ASEAN also want to also learn from Japan to see how technology from Japan also can apply to the 10 ASEAN member states. As I mentioned in the presentation, right, in ASEAN now, in 2026 and 30s, ASEAN we also focus on the decarbonization and so application of the technologies, especially we also want to focus on the technologies in the ASEAN countries. And I found that the filings as a project 44 technologies, and it also has 3 key technology also applies in the paddy rice sector, for instance, and IWD also important for the reasons. In ASEAN now, so we try to promote the regenerative agricultures. And in the regenerative agriculture, three aspects will be focused on. The first one, we want to enhance the soil health. The second, also water management. And the third one, also focus on biodiversity. So I feel that's the outcome of the project, right? Also address the needs of the country. You also focus on AWD, right? And which also be discussed in ASEAN. Next month in November, starting from 25th to 27th, ASEAN also coordinate with the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fishery of Japan to organize an event called the decarbonization and the digitalization to promote the technology in the ASEAN region. We try to identify the scope of regenerative technologies, and I found that the outcome of the project also meet exactly what we also want to discuss, and I also encourage the project team, right? So I also join this event. I believe that the invitation already sent to JIRCAS, and JIRCAS also have one speaker at this event, and I hope that the project's outcome also can be shared to all the member states. Again, here, in post-2025, as I also mentioned in my presentation, ASEAN will focus on 5 important aspects. The first, regenerative and sustainable agriculture. So I believe that the project also have some technologies to support the region, right, in order to increase the productivities and also reduce the cost. But the key thing here is the coordination. Because we already have technologies. If we look at the food system alone, right, agriculture is alone cannot also meet all the needs of the member states and the whole the trends. But because I also want to mention here, in the whole food system, we also need to have different stakeholders, right? So including the government, including the private sector, researchers, for instance, and of course, JIRCAS in that process also plays a key role when you also work on the technology, right? Also brings technology from Japan to work to also apply in the ASEAN countries and then try to adapt the technologies. So again here, the coordinations will be very important because without the coordination, right, without different the participants from the different stakeholders, I think that we also need to think about in the second phase in how to include all the stakeholders, including governments, private sector, researchers, and all the farmers. Because the farmer, I think that also plays a key role there. Youth people also one important thing, right? Because without the youth, it's also quite difficult to apply the technologies, right? And this morning, I also think that we also have we also observe the for young people, right, to get lots of technologies, and they also do the research on technologies, and how to engage the youth people, young people to the project. I think that also we need to also further discuss in the second phase. From ASEAN, right, we have different working groups. For instance, we have working group on forestry. We also have working groups on crop, livestock, and fisheries, and we also have working groups on agricultural research and development. So we also invite, right, JIRCAS, because the working groups have annual meeting. Every year they have annual meeting to discuss and explain the technologies, the challenges, and also the opportunity for us to also promote the technology in the country level. So we would like to also invite JIRCAS to be the permanent agenda of ASEAN to discuss about the technology from ASEAN and how this also can be applied across different sectors. So again here, so it's a project or the aim in 2 things, right? The first one, the coordination in getting different stakeholders there. And the second thing is to bring the innovative technologies to the ASEAN region. So we appreciate and also thanks JIRCAS again for your great efforts to bring this outcome of the project to the ASEAN countries. And I also would like to also announce that's why, because you see that is also under the ASEAN-Japan Midori Cooperation Plan. When I look at Annex 3 of the document, right, of the cooperation plan, there are lots of technology from JIRCAS and also from ASEAN member from Japan. Also, I put all these there. So the problem here is how to scale up, right? How to roll out all the technology to ASEAN region, and we are very happy to be one of the one of the stakeholders to work with ASEAN and also to bring the technology to the ASEAN country in the post 2025. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the great compliments and then many messages, but I can take a few keywords at the coordination to include so many different stakeholders, including industry, private sectors, along with government and researchers. And also I pick up the word co-learning and co-designing. And then Japan and ASEAN have common interest in decarbonizing the food system in sustainable ways. So we can do a lot of things for the future collaboration. Thank you so much. Now, we welcome some new faces. First, please let me introduce Mr. Satoshi Nozawa. He is Director, International Research Collaboration Division, Agriculture, Forestry and Fishery Research Council Secretariat of MAF. And the Research Council Secretariat guides the activities and the strategy of JIRCAS. Therefore, he is among the key personnel for JIRCAS and then Future of Green Asia Project, the Post-Green Asia Project. Mr. Nozawa, can you provide most feedbacks on the Green Asia Project as a science policy interface? And can you also present its plans to support similar initiatives in the Asia-Monsoon region and beyond?
Hi, I'm Satoshi Nozawa, the director in charge of Ministry of Agriculture in Japan. Firstly, I'd like to express my respect for JIRCAS for great achievements in advancing this project. And actually, so I'd like to explain firstly about the Japanese new agriculture policy, new plan for the reference of the next step of the Green Asia project. The basic plan for food, agriculture, and rural area, that is the fundamental agriculture policy, was revised last April. And regarding the international agricultural research, this plan states that strengthening collaboration with foreign government and overseas research institution is critical for advancing development and dissemination of agricultural technologies, addressing global challenges such as food security and climate change. And the new plan also says that in the Asia-Monsoon region, using the framework of the ASEAN-Japan Midori Cooperation Plan, Japan expands the demonstration of the Japanese advanced agriculture technologies, especially the 44 technologies in this catalog. And in collaboration with partner nations. And additionally, using the knowledge and experience gained in the Asia-Monsoon regions, Japan will conduct research and development and trials of agricultural technologies that can be applied to global south regions such as Africa. And furthermore, last May, Midori Infinity Initiative was developed to support the overseas deployment of Japanese agricultural and greenhouse gas emission reduction technologies that contribute to food security with private companies. Based on such plans and initiatives, Japan proceeds cooperation that contribute to global food security and climate change countermeasures with JIRCAS. To achieve this, we recognize that the JIRCAS technology and networks is essential. And also the collaboration with ASEAN and CGIAR, such as IRRI, is also critical. To advance such collaborations, I look forward to your further cooperations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nozawa. When we often talk about the food system transformation, we always complain about the lack of enabling environment, policy environment now, but we get confirmation enabling policies here with the support from the government. Thank you so much. Now, here I have my colleague, Dr. Keiichi Hayashi of JIRCAS. Dr. Hayashi, JIRCAS and partners are facing the high expectation to accelerate the application of agriculture technology in the Asia-Monsoon region and maybe beyond. Can you showcase some promising technology ready for scaling or in the shelf, the pipeline? So for social implementation for such technologies, maybe JIRCAS is too small to do it alone. What kind of strategic regional and international partnership should JIRCAS leverage on?
Thank you, Chair, Dr. Yama, to bring me in this very important panel discussion, and then I'm so happy to be part of this. And probably you know BNI, LWD, livestock additives, and cut soilers. Those are the technologies we listed very first edition of technology catalogs. And then, but we have been working on those technologies to be updated and upgraded. So, for example, we have BNI varieties to be seen in the ground soon. And then we also have technology to accelerate BNI crops faster. Or we have been applying this technology to other crops such as sorghum, maize, and so on. And then the other technology, carbon recycling, we have found other functions from microbes, which is so relevant in terms of bioenergy. And then, yeah, so those technologies should be one of the showcasing from JIRCAS research activities. And then also we have been working on other crop, rice or other upland crops, but we're also working on sugarcane, for example, because sugarcane is one of the important crops in Asia-Monsoon region. And then we have been developing some technology to utilize waste from sugarcane factory to enhance production, sugarcane production. And then also we enhanced agronomy technology to enhance production, for example, in collaboration with a private company. And then I should enhance one technology we have been developing in line with COP30. We have research on forest management, and then we have been developing genomic selection model, which enhanced the production of L3 through with the detailed information of genetic information. So this can serve innovative technology to create innovative technologies to enhance forest production and management. Yes, so those are the some showcasing, and then yes, strategic partnership, as Dr. Yama mentioned, JIRCAS is a small research entity, and then it cannot be, we cannot do everything alone, but we need a partnership to leverage our technology to be seen in the ground. And then, yes, research policy interface, and then Dr. Fotiou mentioned research policy and social interface is a very important springboard to work as a team, and then to bring to make a success story to create impact regionally and to attract international attention. So I think this is a very important way of enhancing partnership. And then furthermore, technology catalog. This is really important and really significant or signature of research and then research policy interface to showcase the catalog visible and accessible. So using this tool, and then we can enhance the partnership to research to be seen in the policy and to be utilized among the end users. So this is what we need to do. We continuously doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Now let me introduce the last panelist, Dr. Kazuki Saito of IRRI. He is an expert in agronomy and soil and nutrient management in rice-based farming system with over 20 years of research experience in Asia and also Africa. At IRRI, he is in charge of Japan-IRRI collaboration project and coordinating project with also countries in ASEAN. Dr. Saito, as the previous panelist indicated, there is a high expectation for development and research partners in the region, and everyone acknowledges IRRI's presence and comparative advantage in impact-oriented research and development experience in the Global South. Could you propose potential areas of collaboration?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman. And also congratulations to the JIRCAS for organizing this timely symposium. Let's start with the Green Asia. This project it has provided very important platform to connect Japanese scientific excellence to the regional and national partners in Asia. It has identified technologies and pilot them in different countries. While it is still in progress, I have seen that it has laid the foundation toward the future impact. Building on this effort, Ministry of the Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, MAF Japan, recently established 2 projects with IRRI. One is development of the rice cropping systems toward carbon neutrality and food security in ASEAN countries. Another one is accelerating development and scaling of the agricultural innovation for reducing greenhouse emissions in ASEAN countries, so-called AGRI project. With this project, IRRI has been accelerating integrated solution for reducing emission gas together with food security. We believe that single component of technology would not really give the huge impact to the farmers. We really need to the integrated solution or packaging. And we also collaborate with MAF, Japanese organizations, and also private companies like Kubota. So looking ahead for the Beyond the Green Asia project, many colleagues already mentioned that key areas. So just I give shortly because I almost agree to all of them. So to move from innovation inventories and the piloting to the large-scale application, this is important. So I have around 5 points here. First, identifying the innovation, which innovation are ready for which countries, which conditions. All technology cannot go to the everywhere, right? So we need to identify areas. Then another one is the generating scientific evidence on the impact of such interventions in real farmers' fields. Then third point, many people already mentioned, we need to have scaling partner, private company or government extension systems, those who will really disseminate the innovations. Without them, our research would not fly. Then also, I want to emphasize strengthen research on social science. We have a lot of things to do. Business model, incentive mechanisms, policies. These are really key if you want to have the scale and the impact. Then lastly, previous panelists already mentioned, monitoring system is crucial. How you can monitor cheap way and quickly for the progress in the interventions in different countries. So in this area, it can play a complementary and catalytic role with our extensive network in Global South and long-standing collaboration with Japanese research organizations. We can help accelerating the deployment of the Japanese technologies together with our technologies across Asia, even into the Africa. Finally, I also emphasize importance of the people. We have seen fewer Japanese involved with international organizations. I am the only one person working for IRRI as a Japanese. Through collaboration with MAF, JIRCAS, and other organizations, we hope that nurture a new generation of Japanese researchers who will continue Japanese legacy of scientific leadership and contribute to global agriculture innovation. Thank you.
Dr. Saito. Actually, I think today's audience, I hope some of them are from the university graduate students. They may be interested in, having career in the international organization like CGIAR. And then if you are just, collaborating with JIRCAS, we are open to this kind of, international collaborative network so that Japanese teams can also join in the international scientists and then other stakeholders to do this transformation as a partners. Thank you so much. Actually, the time is running up, but I just try to have a little bit more, comments from the panelists. Yes, actually, we are discussing how to accelerate application of sustainable agriculture technology to build a sustainable food system. And apparently, all the panelists are very much positive about Green Asia's experience in terms of the dissemination of information on scalable technology and the science policy interface. But the reality, we have to really look at the impacts on ground. So there are a few issues, maybe like Dr. Balié and other panelists was mentioning, deployment of technology may be not enough. Maybe institutional innovation is a way to go. Maybe I would like each panelist to make a very short comment on what do you think about institutional innovation to make really food system transformation happening. Maybe can I ask Dr. Jackie maybe first, and then Dr. von Braun, and then maybe I take from here, and then ending with Dr. Fotiou.
Institutional innovation is a very big area. I'm very pragmatic and there's a lot of things we should could change to improve uptake of technologies. And I think one of the key things is in ourselves. We need to be sure that whatever we're proposing will give an advantage. If there's an advantage, the technology will be pulled, which is a lot easier than pushing it. And so for me, the institutional innovation at the high level is also in our own mindsets. We don't have the solution for everybody. We need to make sure that the solutions are adopted, and to do that, they need adapting. That can only be done with our partners. They have to see the advantage of the technology. So I think it's at that level, not only for ourselves as researchers, but also for the recipients who should be co-designing with us for the adoption of the technologies. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Professor von Braun.
Thank you for raising this important question. An important Japanese scholar, Professor Yujiro Hayami, 3 decades ago, developed the theory of institutional innovation. And he identified that relative prices drive institutional innovation. So institutional innovations is not just something of let's do it, but it is a function of how scarcities in the markets are enforcing and calling for institutional innovations. So it is endogenous, as we call it. The JIRCAS initiatives on technologies have impacts on prices, and thereby my appeal is don't separate technology here and institutions there. They need to move together, and the theory says they will ultimately work together. So we fondly remember Professor Hayami. Thank you.
Thank you so much to mention about Professor Yujiro Hayami, Japanese genius, to remind us of the endogeneity of institution and technology. Thank you so much. Now, Dr. Hayashi. If you are not ready, maybe, yeah. Dr. Saito, can you?
Maybe I cannot refuse. Right? So I'm going to talk about institutional innovations. I believe already previous speaker mentioned the importance of the demand-driven. This is the case for the institutional innovations. Without the demand, such a kind of, if we develop, generate scientific evidence, such our policy communication would not fly to develop the institutional innovations. So key is to engage partners, here maybe more government or private companies, at the beginning of the innovation piloting or testing to make sure that our innovation are attractive to those those organizations who will really at the end disseminate and support for the scaling. So we really need to revise our theory of change. Often we develop innovation based on the scientific interest and we push the technologies. This does not work. We really need to sit down at the beginning together with multiple stakeholders who will really who would show the interest in our intervention together with the institutional arrangement. So these are key. Of course, we already have good technologies, but we really need to start when it goes to the national level and the regional interventions. I will stop here.
Thank you so much. Yes, Dr. Jackie and also Dr. Saito said maybe we need a little bit push and pull that balance, and then engagement is necessary to have the, embrace transformative changes among the stakeholders. Thank you so much. Now, Mr. Nozawa, please.
Regarding the institutional innovation, I think that as I mentioned before, the kind of the collaboration between the, for example, the research institute and the private companies, or such kind of collaboration is crucial to proceed the dissemination of the technologies. And so actually, we are planning to, as a next step, for example, to make the kind of the collaboration for using the kind of the consortium between the research institute and the private companies and such related persons. So one of the ways to progress such kind of collaborations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maybe we have to, engage private sectors, and then to do so, we need a new modality or consortium to have that kind of mechanism to work. Thank you. Dr. Pham, please.
Yeah, I think new institutions are already emerging in the region, and probably even in Africa, in other regions. The emerging of professional services like drones, harvesting, plowing, with tractor services and so on. So for example, in my own country, China, most of the harvesting, planting are already mechanized. Probably 95% are mechanized, maybe even more than that. That's not because every farmer has a tractor. It's done through professional services. So it's emerging, and these professional services can really adopt certain technologies. We have some studies to show that the professional services provided by these companies help to reduce the input use, the chemical fertilizers, pesticides and so on, and increase efficiency. So I think this happened very quickly, but there are a couple of constraints. One is land issues, land. Land, I think because of cultural reasons or legal reasons, the smallholders still cannot increase their size. So increasing size, then using professional services, to me, it's the next revolution of institutional revolution. Then technologies, make sure that these professional service companies are empowered with new technologies, AI, drones or modern biotechnology varieties and so on. So I do see this is another round, another wave of institutional innovations.
Thank you so much. Maybe that is maybe something Professor von Braun was saying about institutional innovation. It's because of the scarcity or the demand for new services coming from that, this relative prices or, new incentives are coming up, and we really have to embrace those changes. Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Minh, please.
In fact, I also think lots about how to apply the new technology on the ground, right? From ASEAN side, right, because we also work with 10 ASEAN member states, and of course, we also work with lots of private sectors. I just wanted to give you one example, right? So, and we also work with the private sectors, and they already have technology to reduce the use of harmful chemicals by promoting the BCA, biocontrol agent, right? However, the standards also one of the things, right? Because BCA also have different standards. And then I also thinking about the technology here. At least if you also want to work it on the ground, you need to develop the standards for technology, right? I'm not sure if standards will come from Japan, because it's also related to the cost, the investment cost and infrastructures. So in this case, right, I think that's in order to have some effective application of the technologies on the ground in ASEAN member state, at least we also have to see the feasibility study on the ground first, right? We select the commodity, for instance, if we focus on rice, cassava, sugarcane, so some kind of commodity in the ASEAN regions. So based on the priorities, based on the key product of ASEAN, I would suggest that we also come to the countries, identify the commodity, and also identify the technologies that can apply to the country, to the regions. And then, right, through the technologies, through all the information there, in ASEAN, we also have the working groups on trainings and extensions. I particularly also focus on the extension service because at the country levels, country like, for instance, Vietnam, right? The extensions network is quite important because they are the one to also introduce new technologies, new CAP, good agricultural practices to the farmers. So if the farmers, the people also understand the technologies, and if the governments also have good policy for investment, it will be one of the good factors in order to promote the technologies in the country levels, at the country levels. As a reason, right, as ASEAN also comprise 10 ASEAN member states. So if you apply technology in Vietnam, it may not be feasible, say, applicable to the country like Thailand or Singapore. For instance, Singapore is very minor. But if you also apply to Cambodia, Sulawesi, for instance, right, it will be a challenge because the standards are also different, the process also different. But the key is important thing here, right? If the technology also focus on increase the productivity in a sustainable manner, reduce the use of harmful chemical, for instance, and promote the BCA, I think that is also a chance. I just want to say to you that now in ASEAN, right, we also developed the standard for organic agriculture. And if the second phase of project also focus on how to promote the standard for organics, how to set up the certification and accreditation system, right? I think that is also one of the good directions that we also want to work with Japan, focus on organic agriculture and in sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I understand that this International Advisory Board has been always advising us, the food system have a lot of externalities, hidden costs. So that is what we have to tackle. And then it was, maybe private sector couldn't, take care of these externalities. But now we have private sectors very much keen to be part of this food system transformation. But for them to come to work for food system transformation, they need standards. They need also, the present that what they are doing is, good. And then this has to be reflected in their value. So when we have to involve these private sectors, and like the even organic farming certificate standards, we have to work together to look into that aspect. Thank you so much. Maybe the last comment for Dr. Fotiou.
Thank you, Dr. Yama. I want to focus on three aspects of the institutional innovation. One for me is the realization that according to at least my view and my knowledge, institutional innovation needs a disruption process. And this disruption process should be a creative disruption. But institutional innovation is not just marginal improvements, it's something new. very new. And I think this is why it's not happening, but that will be my last point. My second point is that I agree very much with Professor von Braun, which says we get the signals, we can get price signals. What I'm afraid is that we are in a situation today that we have seen these price signals. I mean, what's happening with the food cost and the burden to family budgets, especially in developing countries, is amazing, but nothing is happening. I mean, the institutions remain there, and actually, and we need to understand that when we talk about institutions, we don't talk only about public institutions. We talk about the corporate sector, we talk about other institutions. But these institutions, they don't changing at all. Why they don't changing? Because they are based on vested interests. And anytime I talk about vested interests, they say, oh, how you say this? This is foul language, you know? And I want to tell you that FAO has done an amazing report on the future of food and agriculture that says that if we do not overcome, and I quote now, if we don't overcome vested interests and reconcile different visions, we will not be able to have a sustainability path. So my last point is that we really need to address this vested interest, identify the trade-offs, and make some choices. And these choices need to be informed, of course, by science. So I will close with something that a very famous Italian philosopher said, that my mind is pessimistic, but my will be always optimistic, because what I see today, I don't see institutional innovation happening in the good way, but I hope that with projects like your projects, institutional innovation for sustainability of the food system will happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the last, especially taking the last message. Yeah, it really, you know, considering the fact that the food system has so many challenges, we have to be pessimistic, but we have to be really forward-looking. That is what the future initiative is the looking forward to. Thank you so much. And apparently time is up, so please let me wrap up this panel session. The Green Asia project has benefited from a collaboration with various partners, so that we have felt very much obliged to share this experience with wider audience at this occasion of the JIRCAS International Symposium 2025. Indeed, we feel very much privileged to do this exercise with a distinguished panelists representing multilateral initiative to coordinate global and regional efforts to build equitable, climate-resilient, biodiversity-positive food system. And the 4-year project has yielded valuable experiences of improving the approaches of Green Asia project, thanks to the guidance of advisory board members, the coordination with MAF, various Japanese research institutions and university, and the counterparts in the Asia-Monsoon region, and the expanding collaboration with key players such as the ASEAN Secretariat and UN Food System Coordination Hub. And all has contributed to strengthening science policy interfaces. And in turn, Green Asia project adopted so far technology-driven supply-side approach, if you look at the technology catalog. But the future initiative should also invest in defining target beneficiaries' needs and addressing their socio-economic and institutional consideration of technology adoption. And we expect this stocktake of Green Asia project to serve as a bridge for future forward-looking evidence-based initiative. And then thanks the panelists and audience for the very thoughtful discussion to chart the way forward. Now, please let me close this session. And then please give a round of applause to the panelists. Thank you so much.
And thank you very much, Dr. Iyama and all the panelists. Thank you very much. Please give them a big round of applause once again. Thank you very much. So, and this concludes all of the sessions. So before we wrap up, we'll changing the stage set. Please wait a minute. Thank you very much for waiting. And to close the symposium, we'd like to invite Dr. Seiji Yanagihara, Vice President of JIRCAS, to deliver the closing remarks. Dr. Yanagihara, please come to the stage.
Distinguished guests, online participants, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Seiji Yanagihara, Vice President of JIRCAS, and as we conclude this year's symposium, I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone for their valuable contributions and offer some closing remarks on behalf of the organizer. First, I'd like to express our sincerest thanks to Dr. Stefanos Fotiou, who is UN System Coordination Hub, Dr. Pham Minh, who is from ASEAN Secretariat, Mr. Hideki Hagiwara, Counselor at the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries, Japan, who gave their keynote speeches today. And to all other speakers, and as well as to all the participants. The JIRCAS International Symposium aims to highlight challenges facing agriculture, forestry, and fisheries in developing regions, and introduces the activities of JIRCAS and its partners, while providing a forum for the exchanging of opinions. The Green Asia project, coordinated by JIRCAS, has been the first initiative aimed at accelerating the transformation of local food systems by actively promoting the dissemination of information on scalable technologies, those developed by Japan's national research and development agencies and universities to achieve productivities and sustainability, and are applicable to the Asia-Monsoon region. The technology catalog born out of the project has proved useful in terms of both improving the visibility of all Japan efforts to transform global food system and promoting science policy interface significantly. Through its introduction at the international platforms such as UN Food System Summit Stocktake, COP, the World Food Forum. The project has also conducted field trials of the selected technologies with JIRCAS partners in Asia-Monsoon regions. It is worth mentioning that the International Scientific Advisory Board has guided the activities of the Green Asia project from the beginning, and reminded that social implementation of technologies can be achieved not so much through the mere provision of technology information alone, but through the importance of interventions that induce institutional and behavioral changes as a result of considering the needs of beneficiaries and the local socioeconomic policy context. We deeply appreciate their contribution. To reiterate, the experience with this project and even the symposium had taught us many valuable lessons, not only about the importance of the science policy interface in food system transformation, but also about the need to consider institutional innovations from the perspectives of beneficiaries in social implementation. Now, I'd like to close remark by expressing my heartfelt gratitude to MAP, the National Agriculture Food Research Organization, NARO, the Japan Fisheries Research and Education Agency, FRA, the Forest and Forest Product Research Institute, FFPRI, and the Japan Intellectual Support Network in Agricultural Sciences, JISNAS, for their generous support to the Green Asia project, including their cooperation for this symposium, their contribution to the technology catalog, and their commitment to the International Advisory Board as observers. Finally, my appreciation goes to everybody involved in the planning and execution of this momentous event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yanagihara. Thank you so much. And this concludes the JIRCAS International Symposium 2025. We extend our sincere thanks to all speakers and the participants in here and viewers via online for joining us. Thank you. Once again, thank you very much. And before I leave, we kindly ask you to return your name tag lanyard and simultaneous interpretation receiver to the reception desk. Also, please make sure you have all of your belongings. So once again, thank you very, very much for joining us today and see you next time. Thank you.